All right, as part of my rifle build series, today we're going to talk about stocks and why you would choose one over the other. We will talk a little bit about setting up a rifle. I'm not going to dive into it because that's not the point of this, but it does need to be discussed when we're talking about why you would pick one stock over the other. And I have my 4 favorite stocks here. We got the Macmillan A3 carbon fiber, we've got the Gunworks Magnus, and the Altera Arms carbon stock, and then we've got a Gunworks Climber here. I'll talk about the setup with this rifle here, and then we'll discuss the different features I like about these stocks. When we're talking about why we would pick one stock over another, the biggest factors in that decision for me, or the most important things in my opinion, are going to be this grip here. So I'll get this rifle out of the way for a second. I'm going to talk about this grip here, the distance between this grip and your trigger finger, and obviously that's going to vary depending on the size of your hand and what your preferences are, but I do think this is often overlooked. The comb and then the drop at the toe is very important. So these two are more of a vertical grip. These two right here are kind of good compromise between a classic stock and a vertical grip. They're still somewhat vertical, but they're not quite as aggressive as these. And let's go ahead and talk about just the features here. So this vertical grip is going to have, when you're in the prone position, it puts your hand in a natural position. We want to load the bipod, and then we want to get into the gun and pull it into your shoulder with just a little bit of these 2 bottom fingers pressure back. And when you're in that position, these vertical grip stocks make it so that you're not stretching. You don't have to put a lot of grip on the rifle. These Magnums need some kind of grip. We can't free recoil them. They just don't shoot very well that way, but you also don't want a gorilla grip on it. So we need something that can get us into the gun comfortably and allow us to pull it into the shoulder while we squeeze the trigger for the shot. So the grip is very important. Like I said, this Magnus has a vertical grip. This Macmillan A3 is probably my favorite grip. The Magnus is a good compromise, and so are these, but as far as grip, this is probably my favorite. If I had to pick one stock, I would say the Magnus overall is my favorite stock. There's some other features, like these Gunworks rifles have recessed rails here. We've got reviews on all of these stocks that we're talking about, so if you want to go dive into those stocks specifically, I'll have a link down below to those reviews. But we talked about the grip angle, and I'll take a look at these other 2 here in a second. And the other important thing is going to be your comb, and we want a flat similar to this, or a negative comb similar to this, the Gunworks and the Altera Arms stock. And the reason why we want that is because as the rifle recoils, if this is coming up, as the rifle recoils, the stock is dropping away from your cheek. If you have a classic style stock, as it recoils, the comb is actually going to come into your cheek, and it causes more felt recoil. It doesn't actually change the physical recoil, but it causes more felt recoil. Okay, so we talked about the grip, talked about the comb. We want a flat or a negative comb. All of these stocks have that. The A3 is more of a flat. The rest of these have a negative comb. The other issue that a lot of people don't talk about is the drop at the toe here, and that's important for several reasons. We want it to be somewhat flat. You can see the angle here. I should have brought a bench rest stock. out to just show you. But if this angle is too flat, then you won't be able to make a vertical adjustments using this. You really want to get the front, the bipod set to something that's going to work for your shot, and then make adjustments with this rear. And you need it to have some angle to get that, but you don't want it to be super aggressive. Like there's a lot of the stocks, a lot of the McMillans actually have a super aggressive drop at the heel here. Our bag, the long range only bag, supports that very well. The angle is made for those McMillans, so there are ways around it, but I really prefer something a little bit flatter here. And the reason why you want that is because, we'll get rid of this, as the rifle recoils, if this angle is real aggressive, it causes the gun to drop like this on the shot, and your shots will go high. Obviously you could miss the animal, wound the animal, and it'll make it very difficult to spot shots. So we want something that's somewhat flat for the straight back recoil, but you have to have some angle so that you can make adjustments up and down on the stock. The other thing is obviously weight. I prefer carbon. If we make the rifle on the light side, it allows us to run some of these what I would consider to be more durable optics, like the Night Force ATAC R, the Revic. This Maven RS4 we've got here is on the heavy side, and that's usually due to the thicker tube, and because of that they're just going to be a little more durable, a little more stable internally. So weight is a consideration, but I think we talked about the features that we really care about in the stocks, and that's going to be the number one thing I think you should look at when you're looking to build a rifle, which stock you're going to select. Like I said, we have reviews on all 4 of these stocks, so you can go look at my thoughts on them. But we're going to just real quickly go over these in comparison. So let's grab this McMillan A3. We're not going to get crazy deep into it. Like I said, we've got reviews on it, but this can be configured any way you want it. I prefer rails with a Picatinny rail Atlas bipods. You can get it with studs and run a Harris bipod if you want. But the biggest features that make this rifle stock desirable is the distance from the grip to the trigger and the grip angle. It's nice and vertical, and it also has a very nice feeling right in here. Again, that's going to be somewhat personal, but I think most people would really like this. It allows you to get that pull with the bottom 2 fingers and have your trigger finger on the trigger shoe where it should be, and get that nice pull. It's got a somewhat flat or bottom and little drop at the toe, and the drop at the heel is pretty much non-existent. It's got a flat comb here, and you can kind of see here in the bolt how it comes straight back in. It's got a recess here. So one of my favorite stocks. And then this Magnus, also another one of my favorite stocks. It's essentially got the same features as the McMillan A3, except for it has a recessed front Picatinny rail. It gets the center of gravity of the rifle down lower, which helps with the rifle recoiling straight back. It's got a very nice grip angle. It's a little less aggressive as far as vertical grip than the McMillan. You still put your finger right where you need it to be. It's got a nice ambidextrous thumb shelf here, so that you have a comfortable place for your thumb to rest without laying it over and gripping the stock. It also has a very nice angle here for recoil. It's enough to get vertical adjustments, and then it's got the negative comb. There are adjustable features on the stock. If I could do it again, when I ordered this, they didn't have a non-adjustable version. I personally would order a non-adjustable version if I were ordering this today. but it is available for those that really like it. The climber, same recessed rail here. It's a little bit less aggressive as far as vertical grip goes. It's not quite a classic stock. It still is vertical. It allows you to get a good trigger finger placement. It also has the ambidextrous thumb shelves. It's got a nice angle here, just like the Magnus. It is a little bit different. And then it's got the negative comb that offers all of the advantages that we just talked about. So this is definitely one of my favorite stocks, especially if you're doing a lightweight build. These come in around 2 pounds. The A3 in carbon comes in around 2 pounds. The adjustable Magnus is closer to 2.5 pounds. And then last but not least, we've got the Altera carbon, which is another one of my favorites. It doesn't have an ambidextrous grip here, and I really do prefer that, because these are great grips, but this is more geared towards, it's not really compromising as far as the grip goes. It's kind of canted over here, so it helps get your hand in the right spot. It's a little less aggressive than the other three. The distance to the trigger is a little bit farther, but it allows you to change your hand position and get comfortable, and I really like this stock. It also has the same angle here that allows us to get just enough elevation change. Like I said, you don't want to ton it, but it does allow some while keeping the gun recoiling straight back on recoil. It's got a negative comb here, just like the other stocks that we talked about, which is what you want. It feels very similar to the climber. I would say between the two, the one advantage the climber has is the recessed rail. The advantage that the Altera Arms carbon has is this thing can be ordered clear down in the 24 to 25 ounce range without giving up rigidity. So it's great if you want an ultra light build. We really like this stock. So there are lots of other stocks out there, and I'm not saying they won't work for you. The Manners has an EH1 that's very similar to the Macmillan. They're a little bit on the heavy side versus advertised in my experience. I've had 4 of them. They've never made the weight that they advertised for me, and that it's been years, 4, 5, 6 years since I've had one. They may have changed it, but there's like I said, the Manners. Macmillan makes several other models. I'm not a huge fan of any of them because they have too much of a drop here, and it tends to want to flip the muzzle on recoil. Like I said, our bag does a very good job of mating up with those Macmillans to help reduce that. If I were going to run a Macmillan stock, I seriously would run our bag. I had nothing to do with the design of it. Jeff did it, so my opinion on it is completely mine. I'm not trying to sell you anything. We don't make a whole lot of money on them, but we made them for those, or Jeff made them for those Macmillan stocks. So there's really nothing else to talk about with them. We talked about all the things that I think that you want in a long-range hunting stock to keep you on target, which is really what's going to keep your bullets going in the same spot and going where they're supposed to be. So like I said, we'll have a link to the reviews on these 4 stocks, and then we'll have a link in the description as well to a thread on the forum. If you haven't already seen the first 2 videos on the rifle build series, go ahead and check those out. We will have some more. I'm going to be talking about why you would choose an action, why you would choose different bottom metals, and why you would choose different triggers to complete that series. But please like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on notifications so you can be informed of our future videos. We appreciate you taking the time to watch. Have a great day.